Welcome back to the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. If you need a roof, make sure you call Ireland Contracting.
Needs a roof, Richard.
Hey, Gene, they not only do roofs, though, right?
No, gutters, everything.
Siding, roofing, gutters, windows, you name it.
Dog shampoo,
call Ireland Contracting. Give us a call right now, 412-575 on the Borders hotline. Hey, before we get out to the phone line, Gene, I'm going to go out to David Palladino, who sent me a tweet. And, you know, I was asking you about this before the show, but no retaliation shows how soft the Pirates are. At what point will they stop letting the Cubs walk all over them? Do you think the Ubs issued a pre-game warning? I mean, I thought they should have retaliated yesterday.
Yeah, I did too, but I didn't. Did you hear anything about a pre-game warning?
No, I didn't.
I didn't hear that, yeah. Well, I mean, the time to take care of this was yesterday. Most of the Pirates, interestingly enough, did not think that was a dirty play and didn't think retaliation was called for. It was certainly not going to happen today. You're not going to put Nick Kingham out there and, you know, throw at Anthony Rizzo with a runner on base in a scoreless game. It's just not going to happen. A lot of times the players are a little more calmer than the fans are a lot of the time.
Yeah, and the only way I thought it would happen, Gene, if he would have threw at Zobrist, first batter.
First hitter.
Just hit him, get it out of the way, and move on.
He might have been ejected.
That's what I was thinking.
Right.
So, and then what do? Then you're in big trouble if he gets ejected.
I mean, I've seen teams do this. If they know they're going after somebody right away, they'll start a reliever and know he's going to be thrown out of the game.
that would have been a solid move. All right, let's get out to the phone lines. We got Joe out in Penn Hills. Always enjoy when guys from Penn Hills call, my hometown. What's up, Joe?
Hi, Rich. Hi, Gene.
Hey.
A couple of things I just want to say. Dickerson, he had one or two hits yesterday against a left-hander. He's got the best batting average, and Hurdle seems to be giving him a lot of rest for a 28-year-old, and I'm trying to figure out why Rodriguez is getting so much playing time batting 178. He's a 7th, 8th, or 9th inning defensive replacement. And one more thing, the U.S. Supreme Court on this day in 1922 ruled organized baseball was primarily a sport and not a business, and therefore not subject to antitrust laws and interstate commerce regulations. Well, the commissioner of baseball should be checked on that. Nothing should be checked, and the Supreme Court should maybe check these 5 or 6 teams that are winning 75 games a year and making $70, $80 million profit, and they better check into the integrity of the game because it is a sport and not a business. Thanks, guys.
Solid call, Joe. Maybe more money than $70, $80 million a year. And he gave Sean Rodriguez a little too much credit. He's batting 176, not 178.
Very good call.
So, yeah, what do you think? Do you give Dickerson a break?
I don't want the Supreme Court
involved.
Yeah, okay. But Dickerson, I thought that was unusual that he was not in the starting lineup, and he has hit left-handed pitching really well. There must be some kind of advanced metric that shows he cannot hit John Lester. That's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah, Rodriguez was 0 for 4 today. They hit him out in left. You know, maybe at some point you put Austin Meadows in left and Polanco in right. But I guess, like you said, it was probably metrics that figured out today's lineup. But I'm a guy that always wants to put your best players out in the field every day. You know, I know that's an old school thinking. They want to look at all these metrics. But, you know, I want to see Corey Dickerson in the lineup every single day.
Yeah, I want to see Meadows there too until the league pushes back on him a little bit.
And how do you think they're going to figure that out? I mean, is it going to be some kind of platoon situation with the outfielders, or do you think they're just going to keep him benched for a while until someone?
You mean Meadows or Polanco?
Polanco.
Yeah, I think Polanco is a bench player now. I do.
All right, back out to the phone lines. We're going to go out to Jack out on line 4 out in Cranberry. How you doing, Jack?
Oh, fine. How you doing tonight?
Good. Thanks for calling.
You kind of touched on my subject a little bit at the beginning. Like Clint Hurdle refuses to take action to protect his players from these other teams. The only guy on that team that wanted to do anything last night was Freeze. I mean, I just don't understand. You know, he got in a fight with the coach that took his place, I guess, in the dugout.
Yeah, I don't
understand Clint Hurdle why he refuses to do that.
Jack, thanks for your call. Do you have clarification on what side Freeze was on? I thought he was. I was thinking that he was on the side of we shouldn't retaliate. Do you think he was on the other side?
I don't know. He wouldn't talk about it.
Yeah. I mean, what are you trying? Do you think that the Pirates should have retaliated yesterday? Is that what you're saying?
Well, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Because what has Clint Hurdle hit McCutcheon? He could hit 54 times in 5 years. He did nothing about that.
I do remember Tony Watson going after some guys. I appreciate your call.
He's Watson and Freeze is the only guys on that team that has any guts.
Well, I don't know this for a fact, but I don't think Freeze wanted to retaliate. That's what. But I don't know who was on which side of the conversation.
No, I think Freeze thought that was a good play.
Yeah, I think a lot of the players if you listen to the interviews from the Cubs side of things, they said a bunch of Pirates came up to him and said it was a good play. I personally don't think it's a good play because I don't want to teach my kids that's how you should play baseball, but maybe I'm too soft.
Yeah, I didn't like it. I just didn't like it.
All right, back out to the phone lines. We're going to go out to Stephen out in Charleston. What's up, Stephen? Stephen, you there?
Yes, I am. The young guys are doing real well. I think it'll be a time when the management will realize that and bench some of these players that's making the big money and let these young guys play. Kingham pitching and Austin Meadows, Diaz, and let them play and take care of business.
Hey, thanks, Stephen. I mean, they're letting those guys play right now. I'm with you, Gene. I think Austin Meadows needs to be the everyday right fielder.
Yeah, I mean,
unless you give Marte a break and you move Meadows over.
That's a double-edged sword. I mean, it's good that those guys are playing well, but it also means that somebody was playing really badly, and to open up that opportunity for those guys. So, you know, be careful what you wish for there.
So Polanco's due a ton of money, and you hear people on this show, and I'm sure you're getting emails and tweets. They should trade Polanco. I mean, I'm not giving up on this guy, and I think it would be hard to trade him right now with the kind of money he's making, batting, you know, under 200.
It would give you something for Polanco.
Yeah, so I think you're kind of stuck with this guy, and you got to hope that he can work out of this issue.
Well, I don't know. Gregory Polanco to me looks like a guy who is not going to figure things out. It's been long enough. The only pitches he hits are mistakes. If somebody makes a decent pitch, he does not hit it. He does not know how to play right field. I don't know what else to say about him. I mean, he'd be a good fit maybe for Indianapolis.
And I think my biggest issue with him is his defense. But when he does get a hold of a ball, and I think that's what
say that about anybody.
Yeah, I mean, he has one of the highest exit velocities on the team. I know, but I mean, he could put one out.
His exit velocity is toward Indianapolis.
Right. All right. All right. We're taking your phone calls at 412-575-2600. We're going to do this Roots Chris sizzling shot coming up next. And
looking forward to that.
Yeah, me too. And also Ed, Jim, Denny, Rick on the phone, plus some tweets. Back in a couple minutes.